Good afternoon. My name is Eduarda.
And my name is Katerina. Today we are going to present our work based on a research project we did as trainee teachers. Our work is called Promotion of Hygiene Habits at School, an adaptation of a project from classroom learning to distance learning.
Our research project emerged in a Portuguese school, more specifically in a first grade class, inserted in a context of economic and social needs. As trainee teachers, we are daily in direct contact with students. Therefore, through the observation of their hygiene habits, through the interview with class teacher, and a questionnaire to the students, we identify a problem: a lack of hygiene habits of the students' hands. Moreover, the students showed interest in activities related to their reality and also in practical activities. So he thought this was an opportunity to promote proper hygiene practice with a focus on hand washing.
Speaking of hygiene, it is known that it's essential for the kids' individual and collective health. Therefore, good hygiene habits should be promoted very early, including at school. But hygiene can be of different types, like body hygiene, oral hygiene, hair hygiene, or even food hygiene. However, we highlight hand hygiene since this is the main way of transmitting germs. Furthermore, we are currently under a pandemic, and as we all know, COVID-19 reinforces the importance of hand washing since this is one of the best ways to reduce the spread of the virus. The problem of our research project was identified before the first case of COVID-19 was confirmed in Portugal and long before it was considered a pandemic. However, the coronavirus brought an even greater importance to this project and to our work with the students. Considering all of this and also the identified problem we mentioned before, this project proves to be very relevant and pertinent.
The initial aims of the project were to improve students' hygiene habits and create alerts and warnings at school related to proper hand hygiene practice. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the transition from classroom learning to distant learning, the second aim of the study had to be adapted, becoming to contribute to the awareness of the need for better hygiene habits through online sharing of research created by students for the school community in general.
Since the problem of our study is the lack of hygiene habits of the students' hands, we formulated some research questions which also had to be adapted due to the pandemic. Initially, the questions were: does an experimental work of microbiological character that presupposes students' contact with the reality of their hand hygiene allow them to improve their hygiene habits? And is it possible, together with the students, to develop resources or organize activities that promote improvements in a medium-long term concerning hygiene habits at school? But considering the transition to distance learning, the questions became: is it viable in a distance learning reality to develop activities that promote hygiene habits in students? And is it possible, together with the students, to develop resources or organize remote activities that contribute to good hygiene habits at school?
The sample of our research project were 12 first grade students aged between 6 and 7 years old who attended a school in Porto inserted in a socially and economically deprived environment. Due to the challenge pandemic brought, the project method and activities also had to be adapted. Therefore, before the COVID-19, we intended to do an initial and final interview with class teacher, an initial and final students questionnaire, observation, multimodal narratives, and monitor the student's hand hygiene through the culture mediums. But during the pandemic, some of our data collection tools changed. Since we couldn't, for example, monitor the student's hand hygiene. Therefore, besides the interview with class teacher, the questionnaires and the observation in our online classes, we also considered the students' work and production which were sent to us.
Before the emergency distance learning, we planned some activities for classroom learning to explore the main subject of this project in order to improve the students' hand hygiene habits. First, we aimed to do an activity related to the importance of hand washing time using paint, so the students could conclude that we should wash our hands for at least 20 seconds. Then, we wanted to make an experimental work of microbiological character to compare hand washing with and without soap, and to verify which one is more effective. After the students knew how long they should wash their hands and the best way to do it, that is, with soap and water, it will be important to learn when we should do it, and also the best hand washing technique through an augmented reality mobile app called SureWash, where they could see and train step by step how to properly wash their hands. Over time, we also intended to monitor the students' hands using culture mediums to verify if their hygiene habits improved. After all these activities and to share the children's knowledge about the subject with the rest of the school, we wanted to build posters and leaflets together with the students to distribute around the school.
With emergency distant learning, there was a need of adapting the activities without neglecting the students' learning process. Therefore, we started by making a video about different hand hygiene habits in which the children identified bad and good behaviors. The first activity related to the appropriate hand watching time has done by the kids at home. However, the experimental work with the microbiological character was not possible in distant learning, being replaced with observation of the best hand watching method using bread as a culture medium. The students observed the picture of bread touched in different ways. Dirty hands, hands washed with water and soap, hands cleaned with hand sanitizer, computer, keyboard. Regarding the bread rubbed in a computer keyboard, the students could see the apparently clean surface can be a good transmitter of microorganisms. Due to the SureWash mobile app, the kids were able to see and train more than once every step of the correct hand washing technique, and after that we did a revising game about all the things they learned, called hand hygiene expert. Since we wanted to share the students' knowledge and we couldn't distribute posters in school itself, we created a song and a musical video together with students to share with the community and to alert everyone for the need of good hand hygiene habits. The children helped write the song, sing it, and made some videos and drawings to include in the musical video.
Concerning the results we obtained, the students show knowledge about the importance of hand washing, its consequences for our health, and also the most effective way to do it. Furthermore, initially the students didn't have knowledge about the appropriate amount of hand washing time and also the presence of microorganisms on apparently clean surfaces. So we considered that these were the main learning experiences accomplished by the students. For example, when the students saw the picture of the bread rubbed in the apparently clean computer keyboard, they react in shock and surprise since they did not imagine it could have dirt that we can't see or that it could be contaminated with microorganisms. After that, some students even said that they cleaned their keyboard and their cell phone very often since then because they remembered the picture of the bread, so this activity was very pertinent and meaningful. Also, when it comes to the appropriate hand washing technique and when to wash them, these were consolidated and significantly improved, and this was visible through the activities with the SureWash mobile app, for example, and when comparing the initial students' questionnaires and the final ones. Therefore, and also considering the students' spontaneous speech during the classes, there was an evident increase in good hygiene habits. So, we collected some things that the students said over time throughout this project. For example, I learned a lot about hand washing. We should wash our hands very well with water and soap. It is very, very important to wash our hands. We should wash our hands often to remove germs. And if we don't use the right hand washing technique, it's not worth washing during 20 seconds. In the description box of this video, we have the link for the final video we created with the students for anyone who wants to see it.
Considering the coronavirus, students became more conscious of the importance of hand hygiene of our body's health. Since this research project was designed prior to the pandemic, when the interview was carried out with the students, their hygiene habits were already better, which also contributed to the results of the investigation. One of the biggest disadvantages of emergency distant learning was the difficulty of monitoring children's hygiene habits over time. The monitoring was limited to the analysis of videos, images, and questionnaires answered by the children and their family. In classroom learning, direct, systematic observation and the use of cultural mediums could bring more reliable that would not raise any doubt. For future projects, we suggest a better monitoring in the long term of students' habits to collect more evidences of improvement of their hand hygiene habits.
Thank you for listening.
You hope you enjoy our presentation.